Hey there, guys and gals. I'm pointing you today at the fireplace. It's a nice thing to look at today. And I want to talk about something that has really gotten under my skin. And it concerns what some people that are here as refugees are being told by their case workers. And I would call it untruths, falsehoods. But before I go into that, I want to say I'm sorry for any refugee resettlement agency person who might hear this. If you're working wonderfully and you're providing what is promised and you care, I'm sorry about this, but you must know that there are problems around the country. And in particular, I just want to point out things being said to refugees that are just not true and go through this a little bit. Okay, but my apologies ahead of time to anyone who is working and doing their job. All right. These were all told to me in person by the person that heard this as a refugee. Number one, we didn't know you were coming. Huh? Okay, number two, we have no caseworkers. Number three, we have no housing available. Number four, you have to be satisfied with what you're given. Number five, you cannot outmigrate until another agency accepts you and contacts us. Number six, this is not a high crime area. Number seven, if you break your lease, you won't get a green card. Number eight, if you don't attend this medical, we've booked you, which actually is redundant because you've already done the medical in the US, then you will not get your green card. All right, we didn't know you were coming. Well, that's impossible because how could they pick you up if they didn't know you were coming? And they knew well ahead of time because there's a database where they accept the new refugees that are coming. They personally accept, as a refugee agency, to accept you, and they get all your information and your family size, etc. And then number two, we have no caseworkers. Well, how could a refugee agency function without a caseworker? And does that give them an excuse to just drop you at a hotel and leave you there with some canned goods and no can opener? So no, that's just not true. Okay, we have no housing available. Well, if they didn't have any housing to put you in, they should not have accepted you for resettlement. And if they don't have any housing, it's because they haven't tried to get housing. This takes effort. This takes talking to landlords and doing research and looking around at housing and making arrangements for this. And if they don't have it, it's because they haven't looked. You have to be satisfied with what you're given. Well, sometimes in some of these cases, what you're given is inappropriate. So you don't have to be satisfied with that. And that's all I'll say about that. 5, you cannot outmigrate until another agency accepts you and contacts us. Well, that's not true at all. In fact, another agency will not accept you. When you outmigrate, you must sign out migration papers with the agency who's handling you, and then go to your new area and your new arrangement and personally walk in the door of the local refugee resettlement agency, present yourself, tell them you're a refugee, present your identifications and things, and then they will help you as a second-hand refugee to get those documents and benefits and things. They'll help you how they can. Some help better than others, and we're still seeing how that is happening. But in fact, you could arrive, spend the night at the hotel they put you in, and leave the very next morning. This is a free country. You have the right to do or go wherever you please. But you need to have a plan if you do this. That's for sure. Then number 7, this is not a high crime area. Well, a caseworker just said this to refugees when obviously it is a high crime area. You can notice things going on in this area. If things are dilapidated, there could be trash laying around. You could see shifty characters walking up and down. You know it when you see it usually. And especially, like this started in June, and especially when the South Africans leave the apartment and walk on the street, and complete strangers come up to them seeing that they're out of place, they look different, and they say, "Don't you know that this is a dangerous neighborhood and you should not be out at night?" Well, I would say that that's a dangerous neighborhood, a high crime area. If you break your lease, you won't get a green card. Well, that's just gaslighting. That's false. That's just an out and out falsehood. And they're trying to put fear into you. If you don't attend the second medical, which you've already had the medical, you will not get your green card. That, as long as you've had a medical in the USA and dealt with that, you shouldn't have to worry about anything. So I just want you to know these things. Now, there's a wonderful Facebook post someone made yesterday or the day before, and it starts with, "Your benefits are federal. They're not controlled by one caseworker." And that's true. The programs are funded by the ORR, which is underneath the HHS, Department of Health and Human Services. And this is funded by the taxpayer. It's not the caseworker's money. It's not the refugee resettlements money to give you. Number 2, you have the right to speak to a supervisor. You always have the right to ask to speak to a supervisor if you have a problem with what's happening. Reporting usually leads to review, not punishment. Yes, if you're reporting a problem, you should not have fear. This is not something that should cause you concern. There will not be backlash. Getting retribution for people complaining, that is a more serious situation, according to my government. Okay, number 4, you cannot be made homeless without process. Resettlement agencies funded by ORR are expected to help with these basic things: housing placement, access to benefits, basic services. They cannot just say your money's finished and you're on the street. So this is a wonderful post. If you didn't see it on the group, please look through it. Everything is true that is written here. And I just want everyone to be forewarned and forearmed. So make a plan. And if you find yourself in one of these bad positions when you come over, and think about it, review your options. What options do you have? And do you know anyone in the U.S.? Do you have any friends or family in the U.S. that you could get accommodation from if you outmigrate, who can house you without paying? What resources do you have to draw on to help you travel to a new place and then stay in this new place and support yourself while you go to another refugee agency to continue the job of getting all your documents in line so you can work? Someone wants to go outside. You want to go outside? So review your options in your head. Who do you know? As more refugees come over to the U.S., There will be more people to network with. It will be a better situation, but we're still kind of right at the beginning. Okay, and the agency, if you outmigrate, they can mail your EAD, which they should have applied for basically when you were flying over, because they knew you were coming. They have all your information and they apply for your EAD. It gets sent to the agency's office. So if you do leave your resettlement agency, give them your new address and they can put it in the mail, and the mail works. And they can mail your check for anything owed you from the resettlement. You should also ask, if you outmigrate, you should ask for an accounting of how the money was spent on you or your family for resettlement. So you know the balance and what was spent on what. Okay, I just had to talk about these things today because it's been bothering me. I just don't want anybody to be in fear needlessly about things. You have rights. This is a free country. And it's actually being worked on. The problem areas are being worked on. So don't be too triggered by this video. I'm just giving you some information and the truth. All of this told to me by people I find very credible over the past several months. All right. Have a great evening.